boys and girls. Today is a beautiful day. I thought I'd read to you outside. And something fun you can do at home too. When you practice your books, you can read them outside. So at the end of April, do you remember our book Up and Down? Up in the garden, down in the dirt. We talked about opposites. Well, I have another book to share with you today that is another set of opposite words. Do you see those words on the cover? Over and under. So this one is written by the same author, Kate Messner. And this one's called Over and Under the Pond. So thinking about things over the water and under the water. And you get to practice acting out these words today. So first we'll listen to the book Over and Under the Pond by Kate Messner. Over the pond we slide, splashing through lily pads, sweeping through reeds. Maybe every time you hear the word over, you can go over with your arm. And when you hear under, you can show me under with your arm. The water's a mirror reflecting the sky. Sunshine and clouds, then a shadow below. What's down there, I ask. Under the pond, Mom says. Did you hear under? Under the pond, Mom says. Under the pond is a whole hidden world of minnows and crayfish, turtles and bullfrogs. We're paddling over them now. See them in the boat above the water, and what's happening below? Whole life, a whole world of sea creatures, pond creatures. They're not in the ocean. Over the pond we skim past all rushes, tall rushes, whirligig beetles loop and twirl skaters on a warm summer surface. Under the pond, minnows dart through waving forests of grass, while a brook trout lurks, ready to lunge. Ready to get some food. Over the pond, we lift and dip and pull past a row of painted turtles under a waterlogged tree. 1, 2, 3, they slip off and away. Splash, gurgle, sploosh, under the pond. Over the pond, cattails rustle and shush in the wind. Listen close. Cucklery! Red-winged blackbirds race by. One has grass for her nest. Under the pond, a caddisfly larva builds a home of her own, a secret shelter of pebbles and sand. Over the pond, the shadows of trees lean out from the shore. We coast under a low-hanging branch. A moose looks up with a mouthful of water lilies. We've interrupted his lunch. Under the pond, beavers dive deep. They pump with powerful tails and rise to the surface with delectable roots from the mud. Over the pond, the wind gives us a push and stirs the light dappled leaves on shore. There on a branch, a new goldfinch teeters, finally ready to fly. Under the pond, tadpoles are changing, learning to hop. They're losing tails, growing legs, and growing up. Perfect for spring and summer things changing. Over the pond there at the shore, tall and silent and still, a great blue heron stares down into the deep. It tenses, takes one long-legged step. And strikes! What did it go after? Yeah, that fish. It catches a wiggling quicksilver minnow from where it was hiding under the pond. Over the pond we drift, heads tipped up to the sun. A woodpecker clings to a teetering pine, digging for ants. Under the pond, an otter claws for freshwater mussels. Over the pond, a sleepy dragonfly lands for a rest. His spindly legs tickle my knee. Under the pond, dragonfly larvae watch what swims by. They catch minnows in monster fast jaws. Over the pond, the shadows stretch. Ospreys circle on quiet wings. Raccoons and mink stalk the shoreline for supper. Under the pond, with a flip of a tail, a crayfish disappears in the dark. Over the pond we head for home. We glide, swish, bump, right up onto shore as a far-off loon calls goodnight. The sky turns from sunset to dusk to dark. Night settles over the pond, the prowling catfish and drowsy turtles, the scuttling crayfish and tadpoles turned frogs, wading herons and stalking raccoons. And the hidden world under the pond. Here is a note from the author that gives us more about a pond. Ponds and other wetlands provide homes for plants and animals around the world. A pond is one kind of ecosystem, an interconnected community of organisms that interact with one another and with their environment. If you look back through the story, you'll find many examples of those interactions, from the blackbird gathering grass for her nest to the many animals eating plants and other animals as part of the food chain. In a pond ecosystem, producers like plants and plankton make their own food using sunlight, water, carbon dioxide from the air, and nutrients from the soil or water. Herbivores like the fish, birds, beavers, and moose in the story get their energy from eating plants. Carnivores like the great blue heron, otter, and raccoon eat both plants and animals. At the bottom of the pond are decomposers, bacteria and fungus that break down dead and decayed plants and animals to return nutrients to the soil so the cycle can start all over again. Sometimes ecosystems are threatened by pollution or loss of habitat, but when things are going well, every organism has a job to do, and together they keep their pond healthy. The story was inspired by a canoe trip on Barnum Pond at the Paul Smith's College Visitor Interpretive Center in the Adirondack Mountains. So, looks like the story was written based on an experience that was had by the Adirondack Mountains on the pond. I hope you enjoyed this story, thinking about over and under and how plants and animals all work together to make a healthy environment.